Welcome to All Saints Church Thought for the Day. My name's Andrew Fleming, and I volunteered for the job of Church Eco Champion earlier in the year, and been asked to give the thought for the day. On 2 days ago we looked at the season of creation. Yesterday our Rocker Eco Church scheme, what the church can do together in these sort of times when eco matters are really playing a big part in planning our future. And today I'm going to give you an express tour of the All Saints grounds. The first thing that people will come to is the notice board, and people driving up and all see this wonderful notice board and giving information about what's going on. So that's something that people see, but there's other things. I'm going to see if I can find 20 uses of the grounds, 20 things that the ground is used for. First, the notice board. There's another notice board down here, and as we go round this area at the front, every spring there's a wonderful display of yellow daffodils, and they're tended by Rona, so that's always a display that is noticed by the public. And also further down here we've got some roses, so we've got a nice colourful front to the garden. And over in front, just over here, there are some benches, and people walking up from the town often use that as a place of rest, sit down. It's also a quiet place, so there's somebody reading their book. Okay, let's move on. The front of the church is closed at the moment because of lockdown, and another notice board. I'm not sure how many of you have actually been round the back, but it's not used all that much. But this side has this lovely lawn, and grass has been left a little bit uncut because there hasn't been any rain, but it's due for a cutting, and organised a team of volunteers who are going to be cutting the grass. It's not been growing much because it's been so dry. And if you look behind us, you just see Chatsworth Centre. That's a centre for school groups visiting Swanage, perhaps doing an environmental course. About 200 beds there, and I came to Swanage, and actually I worked in there. And if you look across the road, you see a house, and I lived in there in 1980. And the green van, that's where I first set eyes on my dear wife Anya. And yeah.
Who's holding the camera?
Who's holding the camera? Yes. So let's go up and see. Moving up the lawn quickly. Yeah, we're looking for this to be cut regularly, but this open area, it does get used for weddings and wedding receptions. It has been used for car wash together with the car park, used for car wash or fun day, where all this is set out with things like refreshments and face painting for kids and soak the vicar. And you can see down in the car park there is space there for disabled parking. Okay, let's go up to the top corner, and over here we've got a garden shed, and the remains of sunflower competition. A nice Godetia. There's a barrel of water, so if anybody wants to come along and do some watering, they can. You can see it's a little bit wild. we do try and attract butterflies and insects, and have just left this part a bit wild. And you can see here we've actually planted some vegetables. So we've got here some beans that have been planted, and hopefully they can give us a crop that we can eat with some potatoes. And you can see a few potatoes around, and they just grow up like one. I'll just have a look to see if I can dig up some potatoes. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, so, oh, there we are. Yeah, some potatoes just dug up there. So anyway, wild garden, we're going to put some more work to produce some feeding stations for animals for the autumn and winter, for birds and little nesting places. So this is our wildlife area. Let's move on round. And they've put in little bird box here. So I've got a couple of bird boxes. Perhaps going to fix up a bat box. Moving on, just along the fence, we've got some Bible plants, and there's an apricot tree. Apricot was thought that rather than an apple tree at the centre of the Garden of Eden, it was an apricot tree. A couple of grapevines, and a fig tree. These have been growing, and if you look at here, you'll even see just here there's a little fig growing. I might be able to eat that in a couple of months' time. Over here we've got a compost heap. Yeah, can you hear me? We've got a compost heap, and we compost not just waste from the garden, or not the weeds, the grass, but also from the kitchen, the church kitchen. So tea bags, coffee grounds, eggshells come into here. This is the compostable recycling, and just by the bins there's a non-compostable recycling. So we do try and recycle. And just this bit here, we've got an area here, this bit we're just thinking about going to ask the committee if we can improve the grass here. It's used by on a Sunday morning by breakfast at 9 children. We're trying to see if we can make an improved area and say, oh look, there's somebody sort of practicing their bowling, and perhaps we can have bowls here. Invite the community to join in. I think, yes, I'm not sure your bowling's sort of perhaps needs a bit of practice. Why don't you try and do some golf? Here we are, as a golf ball. So let's see if you can get that in there. Other way around. Can you see, Anya? No, oh, sorry, try again. Yeah, come round. Right, here we go, not too far away. Hole in one. One more go, best of 3. You can see practice makes you get a bit nearer, mate. Right, here we go, it's going to get this time. Yeah! Okay. So maybe that's something that we can bring about. It's another use of the ground. Let's have a look. Now, Anya and I do coffee pot on a Thursday morning, or at least we used to, and suddenly some of our coffee pot people have passed away, and here we've got some roses. So we've got roses to in this memorial garden, and each coffee potter gets their own rooms. So we've got this area around. Further round there's a couple more vines, and there's also an almond tree. The almond tree in the Bible is the first tree of the season that's flowering. First goes to the miraculous olive tree. This olive tree was found 3 years ago in a pot on the steps, very, very dead. And it was Palm Sunday, Easter, so we decided to try and see if we could get it to allow it to revive, and put it in a hole in the ground with some horse manure and water, no special chemicals, no special treatment. And it's grown and it's flourished and it's fruited. For the last 3 years we've been having these tiny olive trees. And Coffee Pot have every year we have an olive gathering thing, but this year the olives are getting bigger and bigger, and we're wondering whether when we harvest in November that we're going to get some which are big enough to eat. So you can see there. So and it's the only olive believed in the country that's got a song written about it. So a very special thing. Let's go down and look what's down here. Oh yes, over here there's a tree here. It's a crabapple which has been planted as part of a campaign by Sustainable Swanage to plant a tree for every child in Swanage schools. So they're planting them around the town, and we're part of that plan, working with Sustainable Swanage. They've also advised us heavily about leaving this area, and this year rather than mowing it, it's been left since March to grow without being mowed at all. It hasn't been touched. As you can see, it hasn't actually grown very much because there hasn't been much rain. But it has been left, and we were able to see a few months ago pyramid orchids growing. We had 7 pyramid orchids growing here, and now it's the time of autumn ladies tresses orchids, and you can see a few of these. They're growing in the path that has been cut, but all together in this area there's some more untouched growth over there, and you can see I counted them a couple of days ago, and there was over 100 of these autumn ladies tresses here, and so we sort of feel this is really wonderful to see these plants growing. Normally you won't see them if they're being cut down all the time. Okay, let's have a quick look while we're going round. This new feature are some rings to secure bicycles, so trying to get people to, rather than using a car like me all the time, to come up by bike, and they can lock them safely there. And we've also installed a water butt, and the water butt so that we can water flowers with rainwater rather than tap water, chlorinated tap water. So let's come almost to lightning tour. Lightning-ish. There's more autumn's ladies tresses all over the place at the moment. So if you're interested in joining our grounds team, then do contact me, and we could always use you. How many items is that? How many uses we got? 19. Pardon?
19.
19. Right, well we said we wanted to find 20 uses, so thought for the day, giving you a thought. Can you think of activity number 20. What else could we do using the grounds for the purposes of the church, the community, something eco? Got any thoughts? Let us know. What is number 20 activity that we could do?